Hello everyone, this is JD Calderon and this is Indie Comics Explained, and today I'm taking a look at some older art books that I have in my collection. What happened was someone had left a comment on an older video about Richard Corben, basically stating that I had given some misinformation about his coloring and his coloring technique. So I went into my collection, I pulled out something of his, and I'm going to read some stuff from there, and I'll say, yeah, I was a little wrong. Not entirely, but yeah, I was definitely, there was definitely some information in there that could have been cleared up a little bit better. But I'm going to read it from Richard Corben himself, and that'll definitely straighten things out. I do like to present, at least, if I have it available, the information right out of the book. But currently, I have an Indiegogo currently going on. You can see it on the screen, and it's going for a few more days. Got about 20 days there to go. So if you want to check out some of my work, that's the place to go. It's for the Oswald Chronicles, Passing Queens. Let's do issues 1 through 6. If you already pledged before in the past for the first 3 issues, you can still just get the issues 4, 5, and 6 if you want. So there's that. Let's get that off of there. Boop. And these are the books. Let me just light. There we go. And this is the book I'm talking about right here. All right, let me just. This is Richard Corben's art book. This book is from 1990, so 30 years old. Probably picked it up when it came out. I'm pretty sure, maybe within a year or two of it, but I'm probably that same year. Like I said, I've been looking at Richard Corben's artwork for a while now. Really enjoyed it. Love it. This is from his company. This is Fantacore Press. Richard Corben's art book. It's really cool. Awesome looking stuff. And here we go. Some of his early stuff. So, he does a lot of painting. But one of the things I was commenting about was this. It was his comic book work, and he basically says here, this is Slow Death. Okay, all right, he says, I contributed to many underground comics, notably Slow Death by Last Gasp. Ron Turner commissioned this cover for an anthology of the ecology-oriented series. By this time, I had quit my regular job and was committed to doing comics and covers for the rest of my career. I bought a copy camera and put it in my basement. This enabled me to make lithographic films for my comic book productions, and I invented a method for making imitation 4-color process films. I felt neither my fellow comic publishers nor I could afford to buy color separations for our books, but with some work and ingenuity, we could get around that obstacle. The process worked, and I used it for many years. Throughout this entire book, he has comments as to how he colors and works some of the colors and some of these different things. He uses an overlay process. And the work is just incredible. I mean, the guys, and some of them are paintings. Like this is, I believe, is just a painting. So, I mean, but like I said, he works in various mediums, but I think it was for his comic work. I have another page about here. This is from Den. All right, Children of Fire. We continued publishing this series with color by handmade overlays, not only on the covers, but throughout the comic. I really liked the results of the handmade color. It gave the production bright colors and a full range of modeling effects, and it was cheap. That is, I didn't have to pay for laser scan separations, but on the other hand, it was time consuming and labor intensive. The Children of Fire series showed me that I would have to go to something faster if I wanted to stick to any reasonable schedule. Here's something different between Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Here's Den. So yeah, I mean, the guy, Richard Corben, like I said, just a bona fide master. Incredible stuff. If you can find this book, I would say pick it up. It's a great book. A lot of information, concerning his early work and his process. So yeah, so Richard Corben, what he basically did was he had this film, and he basically just toned on those films. And like I don't know if anyone listened to the last one, but 4-color process. Basically what it is this image and just about any other printed image you're going to see is based on 4 colors. CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. The K stands for black. But what he would do is he would take the film and, I guess, tone it in a way that he would create his own colors. So he would have his yellow and his magenta, and he would play with these films, and he would just do it all by hand himself. I mean, it's just incredible to even think about it. I've seen these films myself, and I can't even imagine how he did it. But he did it, and he did it wonderfully, and it's incredible stuff. So yeah, Richard Corben, like I said, bona fide master. So like I said, if you see his comic work, that's how he did the older stuff, the newer stuff he's doing with Dark Horse that in the last few years, I believe he's using a computer. And the stuff looks great. That's the one thing I love about Corben. He's, I believe, in his 70s, and the guy is still reaching. He's still practicing. He's still learning new things. I mean, he's keeping young, just through that process. And his stuff is incredible. And he hasn't done a book, I think, in the last year or so. I hope he does another one real soon. So we'll see. All right, so that's Richard Corben. And to the gentleman who left that comment, thank you so much. I appreciate it a lot, because it did get me to go back and look at this old work. And here's the thing, I'm not much different than anybody else. We're constantly chasing the new, and this is stuff that's in my collection. This is my library, and it's just sitting there, and I rarely ever look at it because, again, always chasing the new, always looking at new stuff. So I looked at this and I looked at these other books in this pile. I just thought I'd share these because these are fantastic works by great artists. All right. And this is Wings of Twilight, The Art of Michael Kaluta. This book's a little bit younger. It's from 2001, so it's only 19 years old. And this is from Michael Wm Kaluta. And Kaluta, again, another master. He's done a lot of work in comics. In, I guess, the last 15, 20 years, probably just covers. But he has done some comic work. I believe Star Reach? No, I forgot the name of it. But he has done some comic work, and this stuff looks incredible. I mean, look at this. It's great looking, his work is just incredible. I believe this is the Lord of the Rings. So yeah. So again, this is one of those books. If you come across it, I suggest buying it. And I think coming across it may be difficult because I'm pretty sure it's out of print. But this is by NBM, and this was 2001, so great book. This is The Savage Art of Bob Larkin. Bob Larkin, unfortunately, is not as well known as he should be. I mean, a lot of people know him, and a lot of people don't. He did a lot of work over the years. I know him through a close personal friend who knows him personally. Bob actually gave me this book in 2010. He signed it for me, which was really cool. And yeah, I mean, Bob did a lot of covers for Marvel back in the day. Like, there's a Star Wars cover. And he did a lot of work for TV Guide when it was around. And he did a lot of illustrations for these guys. And he did a lot of work that people would actually notice. I mean, he did a lot of Star Trek stuff. Look at that. Frankenstein. 007. There's his Doc Savage, Incredible Hulk. Yeah. I mean, Bob Larkin his stuff is just incredible. Here's some of his Marvel work. Punishers, Spider-Man 2099, Iron Fist. Did a lot of their trading cards. This is my friend's book. This is a painting he did for my buddy. Fantastic stuff. Yeah, look at that. Conan. Because if you're a great painter, I guess you get your shot at Conan. some biblical looking artwork. Yeah. So yeah, so you know, another one. This is produced by SQP Publications. This might still be around. This might still be available on their website. So if you go to SQP, you just Google it. You could probably find it. Bob Larkin, fantastic artist. I mean, I don't even know what else to say. He doesn't, you know, I don't think enough people know about him. But if there's a Facebook group on there, and he actually pops on every now and again, so that's kind of cool. Then the last book I have here is this. This book I've had for a while. So much so is that's no longer white. That's yellow. And I've had this book for a long time. It's BerniWrightson, A Look Back. It's by Underwood Miller. I mean, this book is huge. I mean, look at this. BerniWrightson, A Look Back. I can't believe that I paid $34.95. I paid $35 for this book. And this was probably sometime in the 80s. I mean, probably the mid-80s. I mean, I was a kid. My dad was cool about giving me money to buy books. So, I can't really say anything. All right, well, the book says copyrighted in 1979. I believe this is a reprint. I don't know exactly what year, but I mean, it says 1979. It's quite, I don't think I bought it quite that early. If I'd have picked it up, probably 81, 82, maybe 83. I don't think any later than that. And I know I didn't pay more than cover price for it. So, and this is forever ago. And BerniWrightson kept on going well after this. And I mean, and if you look at, you know, this is it shows off some of his earlier works, right? And it's just basically like a study of his art throughout the years, right? And I mean, you know, look at that. This pen and ink work, you know. I mean, we're talking 72, you know. I mean, just fantastic pen and ink. You know, his House of Mystery work. I mean, there's no wonder why he's considered a master. And like I said, this is work that's very early on. This is, okay, here's a Swamp Thing. Again, 1972. I mean, this is a long time ago. 72, I'm dating myself. I know I was 4 years old. So, yeah, I mean, you know, his pen, you know, then here's some color stuff that I would imagine is gouache or something. And this is stuff he did for some adult magazines. All right. Like I said, the book is old. It's glued in. So I don't really want to crack the spine too much. It is old. And the thing is, this book, I don't think has been reproduced since this point. It would be fantastic if someone could, I don't know, God, it probably doesn't even exist. The film for this book even exists anymore. To, one, reproduce it, and two, update it. I would love to see an extra 20 years added to this, if not more, the last 30 years. Because like I said, this is just, you know, fantastic stuff, but this is stuff that's, you know, 79. There's a pre-1980. You know, and so I don't even think it showed. I don't even think it has anything from Frankenstein or anything else he's done. His Batman cult series, you know, or anything he did for IDW. You know, well, of course, it wouldn't have any of that stuff because it's much, you know, newer stuff. But okay, here's something from Frankenstein. So I guess it is a little bit. Did capture that. Okay, 1977. So it just goes to show you how far back he worked on that. Here's a sculpt he did for it. Some of his layouts. I mean, just his pen and ink work was just incredible. I know they just recently had an auction and they sold, I think, one of the drawings for like, I don't know, ridiculous sum of money. It was $500,000 or whatever it was, but yeah. And this is some of his color work, some dinosaurs. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, it's weird going back into the library and pulling out some of these great old books. But BerniWrightson, Michael Wm Kaluta, Bob Larkin, and Richard Corben. All fantastic stuff. So thank you so much, guys, for listening. If you like what you heard, hit like, subscribe. You know, if I said something wrong, let me know. We can always talk about it. I'll look it up and maybe I'll dig further into my collection and pull out some old books, some old art books. Fantastic artists. Thank you, guys. Have a great night. Check out the Indiegogo, and I'll be talking to you soon.